Hello and welcome. If you're self-employed or a landlord here in the UK, you're going to want to listen up. The way you do your taxes is about to face the biggest shakeup in a generation. To help you get your head around it all, we've teamed up with the experts over at ProTax Accountant to bring you this essential guide. So let's dive right in. First things first, I want you to look at this number, £1,600. Right now, that's what you could be fined for seriously missing a self-assessment deadline. It's a pretty stark reminder of just how high the stakes already are. Yeah, I know. If seeing that number makes your stomach churn a little, you are definitely not alone. That end of January tax scramble is a nightmare for millions. But the system as we know it, it's getting a complete makeover, and that is exactly what we're going to break down for you today. So here's our game plan. We'll quickly touch on why the current system is getting this overhaul. Then we'll get into what this making tax digital thing actually is. And most importantly, we'll figure out if it affects you. After that, we'll look at the new rules, what you need to do to get ready, and how to handle this massive shift without tearing your hair out. Okay, so before we jump into the future, let's just properly understand the pressure points of the current system. This isn't just about a bit of paperwork, it's about avoiding some very real, very painful financial penalties. Just look at how fast things can spiral. Missing that January 31st online deadline is just the beginning. 3 months late, you're looking at daily £10 penalties that can rack up to 900 quid. A whole year late, bam, another penalty of at least £300. Suddenly that £1,600 figure doesn't seem so far-fetched, does it? Right. With that in mind, let's talk about HMRC's big solution. It's called Making Tax Digital for Income Tax, or MTD for ITSA for short. And believe me, this isn't just a small tweak. It's a complete redesign of how millions of us are going to deal with our taxes. So what does it mean in plain English? Well, MTD is all about moving tax from being this one-off annual event to a continuous digital process. Think about it like this. Remember when you used to wait for a paper bank statement to land on your doormat once a month? Now, you just open an app and see everything in real time. That's exactly what MTD is trying to do for your taxes. And now, we get to the million-dollar question. Well, maybe the £50,000 question. Does this whole new system actually apply to you? This is where you need to pay really close attention because the details here are absolutely crucial.
It's all being rolled out in stages, and it's based on your income. So from April 2026, if your total income from your business or property is over £50,000 a year, you're in. Then a year later, from April 2027, that threshold drops to £30,000. But stay with me, the next point is a huge one, and it's where most people get tripped up.
This is the single most important thing to understand. The threshold is based on your total income, your turnover, not your final profit after expenses. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine a freelance graphic designer in London. She has a great year and bills her clients £55,000. But after she pays for her software, her co-working space, all her other costs, her actual profit is only £25,000. Well, guess what? Under MTD, she still has to sign up in 2026 because HMRC is looking at that top line £55,000 figure. So what's this new world actually going to look like? Let's get into the nitty-gritty. We're basically saying goodbye to that one massive, stressful deadline and hello to a more regular, ongoing rhythm throughout the year. This lays it out perfectly. The old way, one big annual panic. The new MTD way is totally different. You'll send 4 quarterly updates with a summary of your income and expenses. Then, at the end of the year, you do one final declaration to tie it all together. So that's 5 touch points with HMRC instead of just 1, all done through software. And here's a bit of a silver lining, a little pro tip for you. Those quarterly updates, they aren't set in stone. The system is designed to be cumulative. So if you make a small mistake in your first quarter update, no big deal. You can just correct it in your next one. It takes away a lot of that pressure of having to get one giant return absolutely perfect. Okay, I know that's a ton of information, but the key here is not to panic. The absolute best way to deal with this is to get ahead of it. So let's stop talking about what's changing and start talking about what you can do about it right now. Here it is, your simple 3-step action plan. Step 1, dig out your last tax return and add up your turnover. See if you're hitting that 50K mark for 2026 or the 30K for 2027. Step 2, start looking into MTD-compatible software. And step 3, and honestly, this is the most important one, start keeping your records digitally today. Don't wait, just start now. Now, choosing software can feel a bit overwhelming, but there are some fantastic options out there. HMRC has a full list of providers on their website. You've got tools like Xero, which is brilliant for growing businesses, or QuickBooks, a great all-rounder for sole traders. The trick is to think bigger than just ticking a box for HMRC. Find a tool that will actually help your business run smoother.
Of course, a change this massive brings up some really valid questions and concerns. It's totally normal to feel a bit uneasy. So let's just tackle one of the most common worries head on. What if this all just feels impossible for you? Maybe because of your age, a disability, or even just where you live. This is a really important point, and thankfully, it is something HMRC has thought about. You might be able to get an exemption, but you have to know that the reasons are very, very specific. We're talking about things like age or a disability that genuinely prevents you from using digital tools, or if you live somewhere so remote that you can't get an internet connection. But, and this is a big but, just not being familiar with software or worrying about the cost are not considered valid reasons for an exemption. You know, when you boil it all down, getting through this change smoothly comes down to two simple things: getting prepared early and getting the right guidance. This is a huge shift, but the good news is you absolutely do not have to figure it all out on your own.
For anyone who's feeling a bit unsure about their start date or which software to choose, or frankly, just wants to make sure this whole thing is stress-free and compliant, the smartest next step is to talk to an expert. The team at ProTax Accountant lives and breathes this stuff, and they're ready to help.
And that really just leaves us with one final, crucial question to think about. This change isn't an if, it's a when. So the only question left is, are you ready for it?
Okay, and now for our very important disclaimer. Please remember that the information we've gone through today is for general guidance only. Your own financial situation is unique, so this advice shouldn't be used all by itself to make big decisions. Before you take any action, we always recommend that you consult with a qualified professional, like the brilliant tax experts at ProTax Accountant, to get advice that's perfectly tailored to you and your business. Thanks so much for joining us.